We're going to begin the topic of Chalav Yisrael because Chalav Yisrael has a halachic history. The topic of drinking Jewish milk, so to speak, has a history, and that history is also interesting for us. The Rambam, who summarizes what the Gemara says about drinking Chalav Yisrael, the Rambam says the following, and this is an important. The way he says it is important. He says, "Ha'ochel gvinata akum o chalav shechel bo akum, ve'en Yisrael ro'ehu, makin oto makat mardut." So the Rambam says categorically that if you eat cheese produced by a non-Jew, or if you drink milk that was milked from a cow by a non-Jew, ve'en Yisrael ro'ehu, in other words, there's a leniency that if a Jew watches the milking, makin oso makas mardus, you get makos, stripes, midrabanan. So this is a very serious prohibition that the Rambam is talking about. And I know that this prohibition became a problem in modernity. I guess in the old days, my parents grew up in the Ukraine. I mean, there was probably it was probably easy enough. They didn't drink coffee that much, and it wasn't, milk wasn't a staple of the diet. It was easy enough if you needed milk for a child to go to a local cow that was owned by a local Jew and to buy as much milk as you needed. And so that this problem of chalav akum, of chalav that's produced by non-Jews, became a problem in modernity. And we know that there's no distinction in the halacha between the guy who is milking the cow for himself, and he's going to use it either to drink or he's going to use it for business, or milking the cows for a Jew. And this is stated quite clearly, Yoredeya, Kuf Tezvav 115, the first paragraph, the Shach discusses it, and the Taz discusses it. And the Pri Chodesh adds that this milk is always prohibited. The milk is always prohibited. Some have said, as the Rambam himself says, that it's permitted to buy milk from a goy in a place where there is no chalav tamei. There's nobody uses milk from non-kosher animals. Or if it would be very expensive for you to get other kinds of milk, but that heter, as the Rambam says, is only true if a Jew watched the milking of the cow and is able to attest to the fact that the cow was milked and nothing was added. It was a cow, there was no milk added, no additives that might make it treif or unkosher. So I take you back to my own situation. When I grew up in Brooklyn, and I never heard of Chalav Yisrael. I never heard of Chalav Yisrael, and that was because we always drank regular milk. I remember the names, Breakstones and others. We drank regular milk, and no one ever told me that this was prohibited or that this was problematic. So, how this happened, that religious people drank non-Chalav Yisrael milk, is something worth considering. In fact, it's important to remember that the milk today that has the imprimatur of the OU-D, right? The OU says it's kosher, and D says it's dairy, which is, I guess, what milk has to be, that the that imprimatur does not mean that the milk is Chalav Yisrael, that it matches the standards that the Rambam presented, that a Jew has to be watching the milk as it is being milked. Quite the contrary. There's some other standard. There's some other standard by which the OU declares that it's kosher and that it's dairy. And we'll talk about that next time.